With midterm election ads running all the time, you may be wondering how the outcome of the next election will impact your retirement account. We have with us today Jonathan McCoy of Market Advisory Group to give us some insight on how the market responds to these elections. Jonathan, what can I expect then from the outcome? Well, I'm not actually to predict the elections here,
right.
But from the midterms, a little different from a presidential election year. How will these affect the markets positively or negatively?
Well, the simplest answer, if we don't have the next 2.5 hours to talk about the political outcomes anyway, markets normally digest elections in two primary ways. You've got the uncertainty leading up to the day of the election. You think 2 years back, what happened after the election cycle?
Yeah.
The election was decided, and the market shot up 18 to 20% in a matter of a week or two after that. So it's really the uncertainty leading up normally is going to cause some turbulence, more volatility, even more so than what we've already experienced so far this year. Post-election, we sort of know a little bit more what to expect from the next 2 years from a political perspective, and the markets normally digest that certainty in a way where you might have some short-term volatility right after the election, but better than 80% of the time the market's up close to 10% between an election cycle and the end of that year. So I can't say that that's exactly what's going to happen this year, but normally it's just that we know what to expect, and the market's like that thing.
I mean, you have historical stuff to look back on. You study that and kind of gives you an idea of what you can expect here when we're coming up here, and it's only just a few weeks away. I still can't believe it's going to be here before you know it. One thing that's already here is Medicare enrollment period. It's underway. Can a person set an appointment for Medicare review at any of your guys' 3 different locations?
Yeah, that's right. Prairie Village, Independence, up near Parkville off of 64th and I-29. 3 locations around the metro, northeast and south of the river. So trying to make it as convenient as possible. We have Medicare advisors standing ready to answer all those questions. And open enrollment is an important period because even if you can save yourself $20, $25, $30, $40 a month on your Medicare, especially your supplemental insurance premiums, there are so many dozens of different companies that offer virtually the same exact coverage. It's just a matter of how much are you willing to pay out of pocket, which companies are you most comfortable with. Our Medicare advisors have a pretty specific process to walk you through all those pertinent questions, making sure that if you do change coverage, you're not going to be missing out on any of the care that you might need.
Yeah, and that a little bit adds up too over time, you know. So, well, let's talk about, a lot of people have suffered some big losses here in the market recently, and maybe, you know, they weren't exactly happy with their advisor's plan. Is that something that they can bring to you guys, and you guys can review their portfolio to maybe see like, well, this is what we think you should be investing in, and this is the path that we would put you on?
Yeah, so that's one of the most important parts of the consultation process that we go through is normally 2 to 3 meetings about an hour at a time, and normally in the second meeting after we've had a chance to digest the information that you bring in, whether it's brokerage statements, existing mutual funds, whatever that current investment strategy is, we can stress test that against what sort of income are you going to need throughout retirement. Even if you've just got a 401k and you don't have a financial advisor managing it, we can help educate you on what sort of risk-reward scenario you're setting yourself up for, especially considering we expect some volatility here for a while to come with rising interest rates and everything we've been talking about for weeks and really months this year. That portfolio review can be sort of that reset that a lot of people need, and that's something we build into our consultation process.
Yeah, and that risk assessment is really important. I know we've talked about that here a couple of times in the past as well. But now it's time for a viewer question. This one is coming from Chris and wants to know, how do I turn a 401k into a Roth?
Well, the long story short is the best way is by rolling a portion or all of a 401k to an IRA first. And what our tax team with Market Tax Services, our CPAs in-house, will meet with us as financial advisors, with you as the investor, to make sure that you're not just one fell swoop, you know, converting 200,000 or 300,000, because that has some significant tax impacts. We've seen people that have really tripped themselves up, bumped themselves into the 30+% tax brackets. It's something that's really unnecessary if you just take a blind one fell swoop approach. What we're looking at is that longer term approach to make sure that you're minimizing the tax impacts of things like Roth conversions today to help minimize the longer term tax impacts of things like required minimum distributions when you're forced to take money out of your IRAs. But getting that money rolled out of a 401k to an IRA first is really the first step. Yeah,
because that's the whole idea with the whole Roth IRA, right? Is it's supposed to be, well, not tax-free totally, but definitely less taxes involved with it, right?
The growth is designed to be tax-free. You got to pay the taxes up front, but that long-term tax-free growth, they can provide incredible benefits. If you end up, you know, especially in your later years of retirement, if all you have left is Roth IRA money, that's all your money. You're not having to split it up with Uncle Sam. So that's an important factor.
Good to know about it. And if you want your consultation, you can call and schedule a complimentary one and submit your questions by visiting AskOurAdvisor.com or call 816-548-2000. They're going to take your questions and even meet with you one-on-one free of charge. If you include your address, Market Advisory Group will send you a free gift. Jonathan, thanks for being here. It's always a pleasure.
Appreciate it.